Now moving on to overlays. Okay, so the next thing I can do is add my overlays to my video. Okay, and now this is where the left-hand side menu comes in. We've got different options for the overlays. Let's start with the headlines. You've got the adding text blocks, watermarks, animations, images, and elements. So these are all different sort of overlays that you can add on top of your video. Now there's a couple of ways to add overlays. One, I can simply just go to my, for example, adding a text block. I can add a short text block and straight away you'll notice it's come up on the transcript. Now I can move this anywhere on the transcript. Okay, so placing it, you use the words as a guide, right? So that's the whole point of text-based video editing. I'm going to select my overlay. I can do that in a couple of ways. I can select it from the transcripts, click out of it. I can select it on the canvas, click out of it. I can select it on the transcript again and close it from the top. When I click on the overlay, you'll notice once again that you've got the different styling options here. I can style it from here, really quick styling options here. Let's change the font to that. I'm going to make the font size a little bit smaller. And I've got this styling option here as well. When I click on this styling button, it's going to give me even more options where I can change the shadows, the spacing, and I can change the background of my text block by changing two things. I can change the color, I can change the opacity, and then I can also change some of the background in the advanced styling options. So keep that in mind when you do work with text blocks. To change the position of my text block, remember I said you can actually drag your text block on the transcript itself. You can change the start position by dragging the actual icon. You can change the ending position, as in when do you want that overlay to end on the video, by dragging the end icon anywhere on the screen, on the transcript, sorry. The other way to do it is using the timeline view here as well. So I can change the starting, I can change the ending, and that applies to all the different overlays except for some. And I'll tell you what that means. So for example, the text block, I can add anywhere at any time, I can end it at any time. But what if you wanted a headline? Now, there are a couple of ways of doing that. Once again, this is amazing. Like, we give you so many options to do same thing, but in different ways. You select your icon, your overlay, you drag it all the way to the start, you drag the ending point all the way to the end. Now, this overlay, regardless of where you are in the video, that's there, right? Because you've started it right at the start and you've ended it right at the end. Pretty basic, yeah? Now, the other way to think about text blocks is using headlines. Now, the main difference between headlines and text blocks is the fact that if I were to place a headline, and so let's quickly do that. I've gone into headlines. I'm going to select one of the presets. Let's go with, which one do I want? Yeah, let's go with this one. Bang. Okay, now my headline is added. I can select it, I can drag it anywhere on the video. The icon for the headline shows up here. The styling options show up there. And then if I were to click on the style button here, it's going to give me some more advanced styling options. But let's close that for now. So what's the difference between this headline and this text block? Well, when I select the headline, you'll notice that there's no timeline here. So this assumes that your headline is going to be always from the start of your video to the end of your video. Your text block, on the other hand, like I said before, you can control the start time or the end time. And that's really the main difference. Some of the other presets or the overlays where this applies is the progress bar animations and your watermark. And so these overlays, you can't really control the start and the ending time because most people want to keep them for the duration of the video. And let's go back into headlines. I'm going to close that. How do you remove these text blocks? You select your icon or your overlay on the canvas, and you can either click the delete button there. You can also hover over the icon and you'll notice a delete icon. You can delete it from there. There's another option to actually copy it. So if you want to do multiple text blocks and overlays, you simply just copy existing ones. You can also drag them anywhere you want as well. And that's it. That's how easy it is to create different text blocks, at least. Even different headlines you can delete, you can copy, duplicate, you can style. Okay, I'm going to delete this one, for example. Now that's gone. It's gone from the transcript. It's gone from the video. So animations, at the moment, we've got a few progress bar type of animations. Now you can add these, for example, on the top of your canvas. So straight away you'll notice there's a little sort of a progress bar that's added to my video. So if I was to navigate my video and if I were to play that video, that animation is going to happen for the entire video. Once again, when I select my animation, which is on the transcript or on the video, I've got different options, and let's go through these options really quickly. The first one is to move it up or down on the canvas. The second one is the color. I can change the color of my animation. I can change the thickness of my animation. I can change the opacity to a little less opaque. I can get a little bit fancy with my animations. I can simply just click on animations, add another one. So in this case, I've got one at the top, a bit of an overkill, but let's add one at the bottom of the video. Once again, I can select it. I can go through my options, configure it in any way that I want. So anytime you want to select or edit your animations or any overlays, remember you can select it from the transcript by selecting the icon. You can delete it, you can duplicate it. Jumping onto image overlays, we have at the moment Pixabay integration. So if you want to overlay any images on top of your video, you simply search for an image by going into the image presets. You can use one of the Pixabay images by searching for it, or you can upload your images by clicking on My Images and clicking on Upload New. For this example, let's just select a random image. It gets placed on the transcript. I can select the starting point. I can change the ending point, or I can change it from the timeline view here as well. You select your image on the canvas. You can resize it, position it wherever that, you can position it wherever that you want on the canvas. You can use different emojis, different shapes to reflect what's being said in the video at that time. The beauty of this is you can actually start syncing some of these emojis, images, and shapes with what you're saying in your video. So for example, just randomly, okay, so I say the word 9:16 ratio here. So that's the sentence that I use. I'm going to go to my emojis, search for something similar, click on that, and it'll place that emoji exactly where I say that. So it makes it really easy to apply overlays exactly when you say stuff. So that's really it for overlays.